Okay, so hello everybody, and welcome on today's webinar from Product Fruits. I'm Martin, I'm head of product here in the Product Fruits, and I hope that I don't see everybody here for the first time and there are some familiar faces. We saw from the sign up that there's a lot of our current clients, and also welcome to our new joiners, so welcome. And thank you for joining the webinar. As I mentioned at the beginning, please feel free to chat in the chat. There's Dana and Adam, which will also answer your questions along the way. And also at the end, there will be Q&A session. So of course, you can ask your questions at the end. Just to mention, this is the first webinar in the series. There will be much more webinars to come, also roundtables to cover all Elvin topic and the launch which we had 1 week ago. I hope you had a chance to watch the webinar or either live or from recording from last Thursday, where we introduced the Elvin, the Copilot, and everything what we're doing for the future. If not, don't worry. I'll just do some brief introduction of Elvin to new joiners as well. Just, of course, to know what we're talking about. And then I propose just, join the other sessions. This is a big topic to cover, so there is much more to come. So don't worry, there'll be more. So let's jump right into today's topic, which is about how to start with Elvin, basically, how to test it up, how to set it, what's the right approach, what's even the right mindset, how to think about the Elvin. And don't worry, there'll be also demos, so not just a theory. So I'll just show you as well. So let's jump in right away. So what is Elvin? In our context of a Product Fruits, we named the Elvin any AI in our platform. There is a one section which is dedicated to the Elvin, which supports you in a Product Fruits admin. So if you want to create a survey, if you want to help to create a pop-up, there is Elvin, which can generate this for you. And there is a second section, which is Elvin Assistant. We call it Elvin Copilot, which is basically like AI assistant hanging out in the corner of your application, always ready to help your users. So that's what we'll be focusing right now today. So it's basically in-app assistant. As you see on this slide, not that much graphic, it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of next iteration of ours on LiveRing button plus Copilot. We're saying here replaces, don't worry, if you are a current client, we're not turning it off right now. You can still use the LiveRing button and Copilot, but understand the Elvin Copilot as an iteration, as build up as a new improved version of the LiveRing plus Copilot. It has a couple of tabs and functionalities like chat, home, newsfeed, feedback, etc. And you can think about it as a 24/7 help center, which is basically grounded the answers and support in your sources, only the sources which you provide. Just to make it clear what it really is. So I have here actually prepared a video from today to show you a little bit more what actually Elvin is. So let me just show you, so even those who are a little bit newer ones with us can clearly understand what we're talking about here. Nothing complicated. So I'll just show you this video. So this is basically what Elvin is. As you can see, it's just hanging around there in the corner. It's like assistant, as you can see. So it has multiple tabs, multiple functions. There is home tab, which you can have the multiple links. There is a news, where you can publish your news feed and new updates towards your clients. There's also feedback, of course. So this is basically what Elvin is in a sense of your end users. So your users, that's what we will be talking about today. And there is, of course, the most important part, which is this one. It's the chat part. Okay, so basically that's where the Elvin is actually answering the questions of your users and yours. So what we'll be focusing on today's webinar, just to ground it a little bit, is this specific section. So I'll not be speaking about news, about home and other features. I'll be speaking about this, how to grasp this chat part, how to fine tune this, how to start with this, to make sure that simply enough Elvin answering the questions properly and as you expect. So this is what we'll be speaking about today. I just wanted to make it clear for now for the presentation. So that's basically what will happen today. So what is today's goal? As I mentioned, from our experience, our own experience, and also during the pilot and experiences with LiveRing button and Copilot, what I see and our team see, also tech support team, all of our team, is that it's massive learning. It's big switch from the traditional world to the world powered by AI. And that's the important thing to start with, setting up the expectations. Okay, so what Elvin can or cannot do, and actually it's not just about Elvin, to be honest. It's a little bit more about any AI and learning models, etc. Because Elvin is not ChatGPT, and all other, even competitive products or any products in the business and in SaaS are not like GPT. So that's where you need to a little bit understand what, set the expectations right before you set up for the success. Otherwise, you'll be a little bit confused where to start and maybe have even like too overly expectations, right? So I want to just make it grounded so it's useful for you. Basically, goal today is also run a hands-on pilot. So basically, after this session, you should be able to run with your team a safe pilot to test Elvin, to play with it, to get sense of it, get a feeling of it, and understand what it is, how it behaves, how it reacts to the information you provided. That's the goal, right? And also, you should leave with the third one option here, is that with the repeatable cycle of test, analyze, improve. Simply enough, kind of like continuous improvement flywheel, right? So that's the goal of for today's session, to set this right. So let's move on. So the baseline, so how the AI works and how the works basically Elvin and the product fruits overall. So first, it answers only from the knowledge you provide. Okay, so it doesn't search the internet. It doesn't search random pages which it thinks it might make sense. It doesn't. Right? So this is not, again, GPT, which you might know, or Claude, or Anthropic, or those consumer products. It works a little bit differently. So it just works with the sources which you provide. It has some intelligence, in a sense, how to synthesize data from those sources, but it doesn't answer what will be the weather tomorrow, right? Or speculate like this. It's set up the way that it will provide just the answers from the sources you provide. So it basically smarter search plus synthesis, right? It doesn't sound that cool. So it isn't like AGI. It's not like humanoids, which can automatically do absolutely everything, as sometimes you're like shared with on LinkedIn and other sources, right? It's a little bit more grounded, but it's still useful, right? It's still cool. But what you should realize, it's really like a little bit smarter search plus synthesis on those searches. So it basically, you ask it question, it searches the relevant sources, it can be a lot of them, then get the relevant sources together and synthesize answers based on those sources, right? It doesn't have long-term memory, so it's not like you, when you do something 50,000 times, you already know in your mind and immediately can react on it. It always needs to do that search, okay? So it works a little bit differently like that. And just kind of security, mentioned here, we hosting our models on Azure, so it doesn't go through the general public APIs, etc. And it's set up the way which never shares information of yours with those models and doesn't train based on the data which you provide, right? So it's secure and enterprise-ready solution. So let's move forward how it works again, but from a little bit different angle, okay, on this slide. So as I mentioned, it searches, synthesize, and provide answer. But as I mentioned, it doesn't learn itself. So if it repeats 50 times something, it will not magically know it. What does it mean? Is that, imagine that you have a colleague next to you, which you just hired, and you give him a task, hey, do a research on this topic. That colleague, every time you ask him any kind of question, needs to do the research since day one, since the beginning. It doesn't have any pre-training in his mind. So in 1 month, when you ask that colleague, it still needs to do the search and even maybe search what your company does, okay? So it doesn't have the very long persistent memory. It's improving, but we're not still there yet. So it doesn't work completely like your mind. And also, this is very important third point. Again, I want to a little bit debunk this kind of marketing and salesy, point of view. I want to be really realistic and grounded in those sessions. Is that, yes, AI is smart, models are smart, all of this is smart, Elvin is smart, but it's not Albert Einstein, is it, right? So it has a ceiling what it can do for you and how the synthesis from those information can go, okay? So those are, which I'm mentioning here, are very, very, very important to realize, right? So I'm not mentioning it here just because of nothing. I believe that you need to realize those before you start working with basically Elvin and our AI and any AI, right? Because otherwise you will not approach it the right way. So you need to tone down a little bit maybe your expectations and approach it similar way as you approach any other product, right? With a skepticism and with iterations, right? to understand it's not like a magician. It can do things. It can help you a lot. For us, it's solving a lot of problems on tech support. But again, it has boundaries. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to mention there. So what does it mean for you? So what I just mentioned mean for you if you want to start with Elvin. So first, your sources are mission critical, right? So as I mentioned, this is how you steer Elvin. This is how you teach him. This is tell him how it knows something and in which quality, right? It doesn't mean you have to have perfect resources, but it means you need to manage them, right? Same as any other data in databases or anything, right? You need to manage them. You need to have those sources in control. And those sources are like 80%, maybe 70% of the success, right? So that's very important. As I mentioned, manage expectation here by use case, right? So don't start with Elvin with everything. I'll show it to you in a demo, what's the approach. But it's never good to put on Elvin thousands of your sources, web pages, documents, and everything what you have on your mind, and then expect it also magically understands everything and connects everything together. We're not there yet. It's improving, but we're not there yet. So you need to manage what you share with Elvin, okay? And therefore start also with expectations, carve out jobs to be done or use cases you want to hand over to Elvin, not everything, but some part of your workflow or some part of your department work, not everything at once, okay? And as with everything, iterate. Like any other product launch, Elvin is nothing else than just any other product you need to iterate with. So don't launch it to all your user base, segment it, test it first, then test it with segment of your users, etc. So iterate on that. So what is the pilot goal? So simply enough, what is the goal for the demo which you'll just see and which I'll describe you and comment? The goal is not to be production ready, okay? Just to make it clear. The goal for this demo, which I'll show you and the steps which I'll present to you, is to you and your nearest team, so to you as a champion in your company for AI and this Elvin product and product fruits, and your co-workers which are working together with you on it, to enable you to test the Elvin as quickly as possible and get sense and feel of the Elvin. Okay, so this is not about, okay, after this session and when I repeat this, I'm fully ready to launch it to my clients and to everybody. It's about you to better understand how Elvin works, how it reacts to changes in sources, and how to simply enough get this sense. I know that I'm using very often words sense and feeling, right? And it's also very different in AI and Elvin compared to deterministic programs like calculator, right? 1 + 1 in calculator is always 2. In Elvin, it could be a little bit different, and not just Elvin, and AI. So you need to think about it a little bit differently. That's the reason I want to start with you presenting here first. Just, I urge you to not rush it. That's fine, take your time. Just get familiar with how the AI tool works, how the Elvin works, how it reacts. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't have to be production ready on day one, right? Important is you understand it first and get a grasp of it. And yeah, that's what I mentioned, like get the real feel of the answer's tone and grounding, how it reacts, how it feels. So this is the pre-work, what you should do. So this is already me sharing this like step, how you should approach the testing Elvin. Okay, so first, pick one topic, okay, you want the Elvin test on. It can be feature, it can be product, but it should be a very small subset of what you have. You can have a lot of complicated products, from simple ones, enterprise ready, doesn't matter. Pick a very small unit of it, okay? Don't pick everything. Say, in our case, which I'll demonstrate you, I pick tours. So most of you know product fruits, and we have a product called tours. And I would like to start with an article or source or information about tours. Simply enough, what are the tours, describing the tours product and its basic features. So simply enough, pick this one topic, which is very familiar to you, you know it very well, and then 1 or 5 pages long text or supportive document, which you will basically share them later on with Elvin and test it on it. As I mentioned, it's not right now intentional that it's production ready, it's your biggest pain point right now. It doesn't have to be that way. It's just about, it should be nicely formatted, structured text, not that long, which you're personally familiar with, okay? So that's the first one, first task you should do. Second one, assemble, test squad. So simply enough, your colleagues, if you're a little bit larger team, say, okay, I'll test with those two, my colleagues, this Elvin, and we'll just get sense of it. We will learn together at the beginning, okay? So different roles, different coverage. It doesn't have to be directly in your team. It can be somebody from product, marketing, whatever, anybody who feels relevant to that topic. And then draft realistic questions or with your teammates, which you will ask Elvin, right? So simply enough, imagine you'll share with Elvin this couple pager from this point one, and then try to understand, okay, if you'll have a colleague which is like quite intelligent, but doesn't know everything, just everything what is in those 1 to 5 pages, what questions I could ask him and I can like expect he will answer them well, okay? Again, it's not magician, so it doesn't know anything else outside of those 1 to 5 questions, or 1 to 5 pages. So ground it a little bit and say, okay, what could realistically I can expect to get from the answers from this basically text and document, right? Write a couple of those questions, can be tens of them, divide them in a team, and then each of them will ask those questions to Elvin, okay? So this is the pre-work. I don't believe it's that much. It's really just fairly quick, right? I believe that even right now you have in your head which topic you would like to share with Elvin, right? So start with that. And no matter if you are a current client or not, okay? So even if you're already using LiveRing Button Copilot, or you just brand new client of ours, you didn't experience those products yet, it doesn't matter. Do it still, okay? Still applies to both. So right now, I'll go to the demo, okay? I prepared it today for the video so I can comment it better. And I'll show you how to do it in our product. So simply enough, how to do this cycle of testing in our product, okay? So let me share that video with you. Hopefully it will work. Okay. Yes, so let me share it. So this is where we ended together in the demo of Elvin, what Elvin is. Let's move forward to our administration, okay? So this is our product fruits administration. I think you're familiar with that. And first, you need to share, as I mentioned, point 1, sources. Most important thing is share with Elvin about you. There's one more step. And first one which we'll do, we'll go to the Elvin section, that's this one, and we'll go to the About Your App. So in this section, this is the first time when basically you will share with Elvin who you are. Okay, this is outside of sources. This is outside of that 1 to 5 pages. This is just understand for the Elvin, hey, you're working for this company, and this company has those products and is in this business. We have a lot of clients. We have a lot of you from different parts of the world, from different parts of the businesses. So it's useful for Elvin to know who you are and who he's working for. How you do it, go to the Elvin About Your App, as you can see here. Fill here those fields, very simple. I'll fill in here product fruits, for example. So us, so let's try that. And then I'll basically fill in the URL and hit the generate. And right now the Elvin is generating description and scraping this web page, just the public one, of course. And as you can see, it generated this nice description about the product fruits, right? About who we are, etc. Anything what you can find out from this web page, publicly accessible, of course. You can edit it, right? It's just a field. So you can just click there, edit it, retype it, that's fine. So that's the step 1. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Then you save it, right? So then you just control it, you save it. And now what we will do is that we will add this additional source. Right? As I mentioned, first step, prepare this 1 to 5 pages of topic you want to focus on. For us, for this demo, I choose tours. So let's add one article about tours. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so we'll go to the knowledge sources. As you can see on the screen here, let's go to the knowledge sources. Let's go here. And in our knowledge base, this is where you can add the article. And as you can see here, we will create a new article which we will, when we will fill in the information about the tours. Yeah, I just magic of the video, I just cut it, it's filled in now. And this is how the article looks like, nothing crazy. As you can see, just simple description, headings, couple of texts, nothing crazy. It's maybe like 3 pages of A4, maybe not more. That's kind of it. And that's basically it. That's basically our source. This is what we will test Elvin, towards to. So what I'll do, I'll just save it and publish it. So I publish it. And I'll go back to the Elvin here. And what you can do also, and what I want to show you here, is that you can add the very same article. This is how you add it to our own knowledge base, but you can also upload it as a PDF. That's fine as well. So this is how we can do it. You just go to the knowledge base. This is our knowledge base. You can go to add source file, and you can simply upload that file. Same information right there. Name the source. That's okay. It can be PDF, docx, and everything. Hit the synchronize, and basically, as you can see, it's being added to your sources. So you can do it either way. Doesn't matter. Depends what you like more. You can also add their web page, but let's not complicate it now. So you just basically just add it there. We have now, the idea is Elvin should know about tours, right? What's in that article. So let's test Elvin, okay? Yeah, the one step I forgot to mention as well. One step we need to do, as you basically selected your teammates to test with you, we need to define the segment. Why is that? It's because we want to show Elvin just to them. Obviously, we don't want to show it to your users yet because you want to just test it. You can preview Elvin in admin here, but what I like more from my experience is seeing it right on top of the app. It's nice feeling. It's really what's great. So it's give you better feel of where the Elvin lives. So I always test in it, and it can be in staging environment. That's fine. Doesn't have to be in production, but on top of the application, it gives me better sense how Elvin reacts in the environment, right? So for that, the next step which you'll see here is creating the segment of users. Simply enough, you want to show it just for you and those 3 colleagues. So you create new user segment. So you'll go to the users like you see on your screen, go to the user segments, and you just create a new segment, okay? So then you can just basically name the segment of the users, for example, Elvin test group, add their users, some basically email accounts, etc. You can add your users, your colleagues, that's fine. And you just create that segment right now. Now, once you have created the segment of users you want to test Elvin with, you just go back to the Elvin, and simply enough, in the main editor area, you'll just target the Elvin to that segment which you just created. So simply enough, you tell Elvin, okay, show yourself just to this group of users, okay? So right now what we'll do, we'll just save those changes, and we will publish Elvin right in a minute. We just publish it, and now we are ready to test it in our demo application. So let's see. So we are in our demo application. So this is Leaflet CRM, also vibe coded, by the way, by AI. And here you can test the Elvin now against that source. So right now we added source, what we did, with information about tours. We added our coworkers to segment. So the Elvin, which you see here in the corner, should it appear just for them in that environment. Imagine this is your application. And now we just want to test it. So does it know about tours, right? So let's write with it. So what we can do, we can just ask, what is a tour? And this is a good start, isn't it? So basically, as you can see, Elvin already start writing what a tour is, okay, based on the resource which we provided. I can have another question. What buttons are at the tour card? As you can see, this is basically telling me which buttons are on the tour cards. Again, this is mentioned in the document. That's the reason I mentioned you share with Elvin the document which you're very familiar with, because then you immediately know if it's true or not. Okay, so that's the reason. If you put there too many resources at once at the beginning, you will get lost, because you on your own will not probably know if it's there or not. Of course, we have analytics which helps you with that, but this is make it simpler and quicker. Okay, so I know that this is good, previous, next, and skip. But the point here is, what if I would like to add there as well the cross button? Okay, so imagine that basically here I would like to add there as well the cross button. So here below the skip, there should be also in the answer of Elvin that on the card of a tour there is actually this this cross button, as you can see it in the video here, this one, it's on a tour card as well. And I want Elvin to know about it because he didn't pick it up. So how we adjust it, how we will investigate why this piece of information is missing in this answer, or how we will get it there. It's very simple. You can go to the analytics. So when you go to back to the Product Fruits administration, go to the conversations. You can see here just this one conversation we had so far. You click on it, you see the whole transcript of the conversation, right? So you see what we just asked for, what is the tour, and also what buttons are on the card. And here you can see below, right there, you see which source was used to generate that answer. So you see that source was actually tour overview, which is our article, right? So what does it tell you? That if this answer is not exactly against, our expectations, we need to fine-tune this source most probably. So let's do that right now. So how we will do it, how we will basically fine-tune it. We'll go to the knowledge sources again, and we simply adjust that article again. Okay, this is our article. This is what Elvin knows. So let's add him more knowledge, right? So as you can see, here are the buttons. And as you can see, there is no cross symbol anywhere, isn't it? So Elvin could know that, okay? So let's add it, save the article, and let's test it once more. So let's retest it. Let's try it once more, okay? How Elvin will react on that. What buttons are on the card? Let's ask again. You don't have to refresh, reinstall anything. And as you can see in the answer, right now he actually included cross button, right? So this is basically through this, I just wanted to share what this loop looks like. You add small source, you know what's there, what's not. You ask for it some nice relevant questions. You can go deeper, not just you, but also your colleagues, their own set of questions, because everybody might have a little bit different expectations, right? This is, as I mentioned, this is not calculator. For somebody, this answer is okay, for somebody isn't. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm testing it in a team, because it's more polarized. It's not just a binary, true or false in this case. So as you can see here, I just wanted to show you the little bit loop, how we can ask a question, see if Elvin knows what you expect given the source, adjust the source, and go back and see how it reacts. It's the same with the PDF. You just need to re-upload the PDF, and that's it. We can adjust it this way. Same kind of principle as well, right? So we can see there that basically you have this button. But we can ask something else. What are the custom events, Elvin, right? You might guess what Elvin will say, actually. You can see that Elvin responded that he doesn't know, basically. And this is correct answer, because in that one source, there's nothing much mentioned about custom events, right? So he's like a little bit confused, trying to clarify from the users, but he kind of doesn't know, right, about custom events. We don't have it in sources. So what you can do is that, doesn't know about it. So what you can do is that you can go back to the analytics. Again, we are in analytics in Product Fruits admin right now. And again, in those sources, in that question, you can see again, there's just tour overview. It is because we don't have any other source, so he couldn't answer that question, could he? So what we try to do, we can add additional source, okay? So basically, we just went to the knowledge base article again, and as you can see, I have added article just related to the custom events. So basically, Elvin knows about it. And let's try it now. So basically, again, it's custom events description. Just to mention, Elvin cannot read the pictures, so you just read and understand the text. So this is basically, we added new piece of information to his brain. And then again, let's test him once more. Let's test him again. What are custom events? Let's try once more. Yeah, as you can see, Elvin now answers. Elvin now knows about the custom events. And we can try even one more complicated question. It's like, if basically I can trigger tour from custom event. Why I'm asking this more complicated question? Because right now Elvin has information about tours, one article, and custom events, another. So he can find both articles and then synthesize the information from them if this is actually possible. It is possible, so let's see. Yeah, and it answers, okay, it is possible actually trigger the tour from the custom events, because he searched those two articles, he find them valid, and then synthesized this knowledge from it, okay? So it can, again, you can see in analytics, we are in analytics now. This is the question here. What are custom events we just asked? And as you can see, he searched both through those two right now articles and synthesized the answers from them. So this is basically how it generally works. And as you can see, this is a little bit that feedback loop, which gets you started, gets you better understand how to polish it, how to work with Elvin. Yeah, just try this multiple times. This is not just for you to chat right now 2 questions, right? Ask many questions, probe it. But again, it's not about adding a lot of sources. Just get to his head, how he thinks even about those couple of pages of A4 he has available right now, right? To find his boundaries, what he can do, cannot do. So you can better grasp how you can use them in each workflows at the beginning and how to start with them and start learning with the Elvin. That's the goal, right? So it's not about this, but find how he reacts based on information you know he has. Okay. This is same here. Also search for both sources, right? So right now, there's one cool thing I want to show you. We have some conversations, not that many of them actually, 5 as you can see here, but I want to ask what being users, us right now in this demo actually, been speaking about with Elvin. So I can go to this Elvin section outcomes, just this is for the kind of cool factor, and it's very useful actually. What are the most discussed products? So I can ask here in Elvin section outcomes as a part of analytics, what are the most discussed products? And even if you have just 5 communication, right, 5 chats, not that much, but just to test it, you can see, okay, this is actually what you can ask for and get answer, right, about. So it actually identified that we discussed about tours. What's the purpose of the tour? What's the button actions like on the cards? What are the triggers from tours and custom events? So actually identify pretty well what we asked for in those 5 short chats. But you can, I think, envision how useful it is when you have hundreds and thousands of those chats, can you? You can ask any question like, what's the most discussed issue, right? And help me to deal with it. What are the next steps, right? And this is just beginning. We can generate those in the future on regular basis for you. So you don't have to even write a prompt. And every week we will tell you what's interesting from those chats, right? So this is where we are heading. But this is just, out of curiosity, something a little bit different for where the future heading. But you can use it as well. It's, as I mentioned, it's in the product right now. So then in matter of the knowledge sources, you can also add website. So if you say, yeah, I don't have a PDF, I'm not using your knowledge base, that's fine. You can still, to the sources, add also web page, right? As you can see, I choose here the web page, which is a subset of our web pages. Again, I urge you not add too many sources at first, right? It's very hard to test them, okay? So start with smaller one, you can always expand, that's fine. No problem with that, there's quite large limits. You set it up, hit synchronize, and this is basically how you do it, right? So same thing, and if the page contains the same information as we showed, replies should be the same from Elvin. So this is kind of this loop as you can see it. So far, this is, I believe, the most important part of the testing. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't go to other features or anything. We have a lot of them. But if you want to start with Elvin, start with this simple, iterate. Speak with your colleagues. What's their findings? What their learnings? Even on top of this small information set. That's important. Okay, yeah, so this is basically how it looks like. Basically, added source, you can turn on and off individual pages if you want. So it works as well with the pages right there in the Elvin. Now, something which you can do here also is that once you're chatting with the Elvin, you can change the tone a little bit. So you say, okay, I like how Elvin knows about tours and custom events, but I want Elvin to speak a little bit different tone with my users, maybe more professional, more relaxed and everything. So that's that field for it. So in the Copilot editor, in this assistant tone on your screen, you can nicely say, okay, respond as a pirate, kind of classical one. You save it, publish changes. And again, when you go to the Elvin, you see the change immediately. Again, what are tours? Same question. And then you can see that Elvin basically replies kind of funnily, our mate and tours and again. So it kind of reflected the tone which you set for him. Maybe you say, hey, Martin, those are quite trivial questions, are they? What's important here right now is that for this demo, if you want to move forward, iterate and improve, if you repeat the question almost the same way, it's much more easier for you to spot differences as relevant behavior, right? Because if you change that question to very complex and long one at the beginning, it's very hard for you to understand if the change in the answer is because of that longer question or because of different sources or something. So that's the reason why I'm choosing a little bit, maybe trivial questions, repeat them to see if the setting make a difference and how big one, because I know how it reacted before on the very same question. So that you can very quickly iterate. And you can see it also in analytics, of course, and we'll provide you later tools. And you have those outcomes there, you have the conversations there, but later we will provide you even more tools to go deeper to those nuances, okay? So this is just one kind of funny one to see how basically Elvin reacts to that. Some other thing which is very important is, as I mentioned, Elvin, as any other AI, has limits, right? And it's important to realize the limits. That means that if you hit or your end users hit those limits, they have a way to reach out, for example, to your human customer support. You can set it up here in Elvin Editor in the Human Handover tab, right here. And you can just put there, for example, the chat email support if you don't have like chat provider, so you have just email. You can just set the email here and basically set up the Elvin that if your end user asks for the human support, you'll get it and she will get it, right? So here you can test it. I want to speak with human or human support. Anything should work in any language, it doesn't matter. And as you can see, Elvin is still replying with this piratey tone, but he provided the contact support button, right? So you can just click on that contact support. You can describe the problem, send it, and you will receive email. Your support will receive email as well, and of course resolve the conversation right there. Yeah, so basically that was the main part of the demo, right? So that was what I wanted to show you right now. It's basically this core part. Is this kind of cycle of testing Elvin, right? So first, share source share it with your colleagues, set up the segment, and then prompt the questions iteratively over the next days. Okay, that's the main goal of it. You can check the analytics, you can see which topics were not answered, how to adjust the sources, if the adjustment of source help, how adjust the tone a little bit. So just this. For me, important is to get to you to this. Like start with this. Don't go right now to very advanced features yet. There'll be time for them. So I know we have the automatically generated tours, right? The guides, and more. I'll show it to you in the next webinars. We will have support material for that as well, of course. You can even try it. You can book even demo, of course. But I urge you start with this, okay? And once you're happy with that, once you understand it, move forward together with our webinars, or book a demo, and we will walk you through a little bit more complicated parts. Because with the AI, the biggest challenge is that it's not tremendously complicated, is it? It's just a kind of like assistant, and you chat with it. But the problem is that if you want to make it effective and efficient, you need to change your model in your head a little bit, because it works a little bit differently. There's a certain level of ambiguity and unpredictability. We will provide you more and more tools to tame it. So we will have even tools, for example, when you have specific question and you want Elvin exactly answer that question exactly that way, that particular question, you will have a tool to do that. We will also improve knowledge base of ours when you get add information just for Elvin. So your end users and humans will not be able to read it, but Elvin will. So you can steer him and nudge him a little bit through that. So there'll be more and more coolness of this, and help you to tame it and to kind of like form it your way, even more than you can right now. Okay, so this is all common, but please start with that. And again, if you either further book a demo, we will go through your case and move forward with that. But this is the main important part I wanted to cover. Just one thing, if you are a client, which a lot of you are, and you're already using the live ring button, okay, the question is how this changes. The answer is basically none, right? Do it the same way, but make sure that Elvin here, so simply enough, Elvin here is visible just for certain segment of users. And you can also iterate through this. So what I showed you is iteration within your internal team, okay? But you can see that you can iterate the very same way with your clients. Once you're happy with that and you're understanding, get back to your team, understand for which set of clients you want to test it first, and then do the same. Add just the sources which cover their case and the use case, test them as you did right now, and then to the segment which I just showed you, the creation of the user segments, add those clients and turn off for those clients live ring button, which means exclude them from the segment the live ring button is segmented for. So simply enough, you'll switch for them live ring button and switch on for them Elvin. And again, iterate. It can be tens or hundreds of clients depending on your size. But again, iterate and see what their feedback is. Go to the analytics as I showed you, and basically verify that they really, the feedback, the quality and everything. And once you're happy with that, expand. Again, expand, right? Iterate like that. Add more sources, add more clients. Simple like this, like any other product launch. Don't put everything to it and launch it to everybody. We saw our clients sometimes doing it. It's dangerous, okay? So yeah, that was me speaking a lot. And believe me, next how we settle this is that always we have this kind of webinar, and the next week, which is the next week, there is a roundtable, which is nothing else. It's just 1 hour you asking questions and we discussing. Me, also other clients. We did it in past. Amazing format, right? So this is a little bit more talking from me. We will still get to your answers, of course, to your questions, of course, but then there'll be more and more also roundtables which you can literally discuss on a topic and ask questions. So, okay, so I've been speaking quite a lot. So right now I'll ask Dana if maybe she can jump in and tell me what are the questions from the audience.